talk about omissions and reports. You know, and we have been a body count. Well, it didn't match. This report didn't match what the body count said. I hope we can get you down there on Bertra. I hope we can put you in some high-stress situations. On that platform and put you into a police shooting, and then I'll pull you into a room and I'll tell you to write down what happened. Then we'll get you back in there and we'll replay it for you. And I will point out all of your glaring omissions. Right after you went through it, I'll point out all your glaring omissions and your flawed memory, okay? So one thing to intentionally falsify a police report is one thing. To go through a very complex, dynamic situation where the fur is flying and there's multiple people involved to remember. As an interesting point, I finished up a 20-week course where I spent 20 weeks totally immersed in this stuff about psychology, the high-stress use of force incidents, and memory and recall, and all the things that the subject matter experts find about this stuff, and about how flawed memory is, and how hard it is to solve things exactly and perfectly. But it's a dangerous road to go down when you expect your police officers to be perfect, because that don't exist. It just doesn't exist. And I think it's pretty easy most of the time. A lot of times, sometimes it's easy to figure out who's really going to cook a story up, as opposed to what's meant or the stress of the moment. I gave you my best recollection. I gave you my best. I told you what I recall. Well, we have the video, you know, and I'm just telling you, there's just a lot of things that go on with human memory under stress, where you may not get all that. And but the report writing is very frustrating, because we're expected to write really, really detailed reports. And what the classic example is, you write the report to the best of your ability, then you go into the courtroom 3 months later, some attorney now is to play 20 questions with you and ask you all these questions. Well, officer, why didn't you note that in your report? I didn't think about it at the time. It was not important to me at the time. I didn't think it was relevant to the case at the time. In fact, counselor, I couldn't have a crystal ball to look in the future to see what you're going to ask me 8 months down the road. If I could have, I would have wrote a lot better report for you. Okay? But that's just the human angle of this stuff that I just want to bring out. It kind of pulls my heartstrings, because I've been on the street, I've been there, I've done that, I've been in the high-stress situations, I've had to write reports, I've had to train rookies. I've done all that stuff. So, anyway, that's...
Chief Kurtenbach, you said one of the things that you do to ensure accurate report writing is to the importance of accurate report writing. Is there any other measures that the police department is taking to create best practices for report writing to ensure that they're accurate?
So a supervisor's job is to review reports that his or her employees write. Now granted, supervisors aren't always on scene, but I'll tell you, I was a sergeant for over 10 years. I knew in the different squads that I had which officers were very good report writers, and which maybe others that needed some help. I know which officers needed maybe a little bit more of my attention, and others not so much. So part of our first line supervisor's job is to be out there with their employees, rolling in on calls, guide them, mentor them, train them, get their report writing, if there are other, use the term deficiencies for this discussion, addressed. Reading that, providing that feedback. In terms of best practices, that's part of what we strive to do by going to these other agencies to see, is there something special out there that we don't know about that could help us get better? If there are opportunities to improve, we're open to that. But I don't know of any national metric best practice that exists right now.
Okay, I was just wondering, because in the Chief's 5-point plan, I think it sounded maybe a little bit more robust than what you're saying now. I'm just wondering if there's anything else that's being done to ensure that.
No, I think we're just saying it differently.
Okay.
She's talking about going on these best practice tours, as I mentioned before, but beyond that, and we all have membership to the Major City Chiefs Association, International Association of Chiefs of Police, the Police Executive Research Forum. We're looking at all of the tools that they have that we can apply here so that we can be better. So she said it better than I did. No arguing that, but it's the same thing. It's opportunities to improve. All I was addressing is I don't know of a rubric that I can point to say this is a good report, this report needs improvement, because situations, to Ken's point, are so fluid. A point that I don't know if I made clearly before, the way we were trained to write reports, there was a synopsis. That's what it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be every detail of every event that happened out there. It was never supposed to be that way. But we have to evolve. We understand with body-worn camera technology, surveillance video, cell phones and whatnot, we must do. Working with our research partners as well to find opportunities to improve. I just don't have an answer for you right now.
Question for you. So, are they still doing, these are electronic reports then? Is that you're doing that?
Yeah, officers have to actually direct enter their reports now.
Is there a methodology whereby, because I saw one of in a meeting and talked about specifically some of the things that take place. So, for example, a checklist that can be a trigger to remember that I need to put this within the narrative. So, for example, I pulled my gun out. I may not remember that, but if I have a check mark that I have to check, then when I go back, yeah, I did pull it out. And so then I can add that to the narrative. Is there something being done to help to create those prompts so that there's things to trigger? Because there's some things I just forget about because they're just sort of rote. It's sort of like, did I stop at the stop sign? I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about that. But if I'm required to think about some things that I wouldn't necessarily think about, I got to check it. Is there something in that electronic area that's being looked at, being researched? Is there anything that's happening like that?
No, Pastor Barnwell, you hit an important point. I think we've all been there where we're driving down the road, and we got maybe 3 miles down the road and we don't remember the last 3 miles, but we got there safely. How did that happen? Well, that happens to police officers too. So the short answer to your question is yes, that exists. There's a lot of focus on narrative, right? Did the narrative report match up with the actions? But what we have in our RMS is a robust series of check boxes that are many of which are mandatory fields, so I can't go past this unless I check this box. Those are those, I'll use the word trigger for this point, those are those triggers for our officers that they have to check yes or no. They have to enter a supervisor's name like an pointing gun at person, and that way then that feeds in the narrative, but it also helps with data collection. Data that's included in a narrative is very hard to extract. That's why we want more fields that we can extract information from, so that does exist. And that's also evolving.
So, I think we're going to take a break. If it's okay with everyone, I don't know if there was any other report questions. Coming back from break, we go into our breakout. Does that sound good? So what we're going to do right now
I have
is...
just one quick question, sorry. I just wanted to add on the report writing. The other thing we have seen, especially in the last, I know I can think of 3 cases right now, where there was absolutely no report written at all, including, right, like a woman being subjected to an illegal cabin search a few months ago, and there was no report. And that level of violation in your body, not a report not being written is one extreme, but there have also been other cases of stops, detainments, no arrest, just like tickets, or at the end of warnings, and there's again no reports. And so reports are extremely important, especially when we don't have body cameras, we don't have dash cameras, we don't have anything that the report is the only thing that holds anything. Even the fact that that experience happens and that situation happens. So what are y'all doing about that? The fact that people are not writing reports, and then what kind of disciplinary action does that have?
So we can't fix what we don't know. I'm not suggesting that you're referring to situations that we don't know. So when you ask me, what are we doing about officers that don't write reports? Well, if that information is brought to our attention and the situation in question definitely called for a report, that's neglect of duty. Is the fact that the officer didn't write a report that was, there's no doubt, right? So we're not talking about interpretation, there is no doubt there should have been a report. Let's talk about an accident, where there should have been an accident report written. That's something that gets investigated, that's gonna start with a written reprimand. Up to suspensions, and it could involve termination depending. But let me say this, without addressing a specific incident, that there may be times that it appears that a report has not been authored regarding an incident, but a report was authored, that that report is sealed and not subject to release until the conclusion of an investigation. I'm deliberately being vague, but there are times that it takes a little bit longer to get to that document that is subject to public record, because a longer investigation must be completed before that report is finalized and released.
Alright, so we're gonna go, we didn't set them up, we're gonna do 3 groups of 5, and so we'll do say it out loud. One. Sorry, we're gonna start all over. Just stop at 3 and then start again.
1, 2, 3, 1.
1, and then tomorrow will be 2.
1, 2.
Okay, so if staff can help us out in doing the 3 boards, and so we'll come back at 3 and head to our groups, look for your number 1, 2, or 3. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, so this is Phoenix, not just city council, but the police ad hoc meeting. So we have council members, people from high-ranking positions within the police department. You have community members. Can you all hear me, by the way? Yeah, I know. I just gotta make sure that I can set it out of the way. So they're gonna be setting up in groups over here.
So it's normally
Trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. Turn my static off for now. He used to be a field training officer. I don't know if he is anymore. But how's it going?
Does this meeting go to? 4.
Yeah, 4. No, they're just gonna have a discussion. It's like what happened out of church about, I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago, when I came back from my trip. I Texas GT, if you're still in here, I think you spoke to him. I think he's the deputy chief. So that makes sense now. When you said it was the chief. The chief doesn't like to respond directly to the people, which I don't blame her now. Because I understand a little bit more because she has to worry about the union now. Not that I say everything that she's doing is correct, but at least she seems like she's trying. at this point. That's all I really care about.
Yes, my name is Sheila.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, welcome Apache Junction. So, I was late. I had to submit that complaint, get that process going. So,
I'm great, thank you. I'm at
but I gotta learn some things and work on some
I
things.
originally got out at 3 and I was gonna come by to see you, but I didn't get out till 4. Are you still gonna be around Colorado?
So, because I kind of want to start the process. Can you guys hear me better than my last
So I'll see you
videos?
sometime between 4 and 4:15, as soon as I get out.
I lost the battery cover, so I'm trying to work with the manufacturer to get me a new one. Or a few more. I don't even see Sal the CCO here, and he says he loves the police, so I'm kind of confused. Well, I run a local news organization.
What's that?
Arizona United News. We're only online, so we're a collection of small groups. Oh, hey. I know you. So. And is that? Okay, I might. Hold up, I'll be back.
So then he deleted my post and my pictures and then blocked her.
I have to go pee before this meeting comes back.
But anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, great. There's another one on the 19th of this month, people are gonna be able to speak at that one. They normally can't speak at this one. And I'm gonna make another Facebook page, like SJ. And I don't know how many people I can reach. This is after I
I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay. Probably just the initial part of this. So, yeah, there's a couple victims of police violence here, so that's good that they're making their presence. So, I had to meet with those people.
How are you, man? We met last time, Mark.
So, not sure if this is community members or just city people.
Finally made let me just get my water.
So there's no Sal DeCiccio here, and he claims he loves police, so he's not even wanting to be part of the discussion. So there's Michael Norkowski and yeah, over here.
Hello, how are you, Mark?
Mark, I'm Stan. Nice to meet
The goal is to try to reconvene
What's
at
the
3:30.
odds of that?
Try to reconvene at 3:30.
So there's a break right now.
Because we've got several public comments. You want to start at 3:45. Okay?
So there's going to be public comments. I'm going to stay for that.
3:45. We've got several cards. High level till 3:30.
So
I mean,
corrections is only applicable. We get the phrase after you guys are done. And it's so difficult.
okay, there's Carlos Garcia over there. So those are the only two council members I see so far. Let me see. Is that Belda? I can't tell. I think that's Thelda, right? So I'm surprised she showed up, but you don't have no Sal DeCiccio here. And a lot of people are asking him to step down. So how's it going, 6th Estate? Hopefully I'll be able to come see you on my way back from Las Vegas.
Let me just give you one of my business cards, okay?
It'll be
Well, that's
next
all the
month.
information I have. That's it. So I don't know what.
Noah was in here, and okay. Too bad I can't give Noah a cup of coffee.
I did, thank you.
That's only because I wanted to make sure the team was second.
Because he deserves it.
At least he might have.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it gets closer.
That's my favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, how are you doing, Davis?
Number one? We're number one.
Okay,
So I'm not exactly, it looks like city employees maybe. Because I don't necessarily see public members here.
I have a feeling like we're never going to get through it. We've got to have more than one meeting a month. I don't see where we're going to get through reports, let
Good.
And I don't know if it's more frequent meetings, but just understanding. And I will say, I do think the first report is the most updated, reflecting a lot of the.
Had to re-glue my tripod.
That is to me.
I'm not talking about that, you know?
And here we are 3 weeks into it.
It broke out one of the scenes.
So much
Slide
I don't
five.
want to drive around picking up
How do you want me to capture
what
it?
I have.
Two different things.
Absolutely.
Not to the point that I was,
No, more people than killed. Oh, and most of them are, most of them are people that are
and that's why he thought he
Well, the big problem right now are the unions and the mafia that runs them. That's where a lot of the problems come from.
sorry, just go. So am I. About my emotional well-being. No, I don't want to talk to you. I want you to know this. I'm here for security. That's the work that I've been doing for years. And I don't want to let up nonsense.
Yeah.
I take that as a command that it is.
This is fine too.
Oh, you're not listening at all. This is like privilege.
Reports say, rather than what we ideologically
Go
think
away.
that. Because the reports say a certain thing. And reports say.
You don't hear about me right now, but there's a trigger. I gotta shut up.
Yeah, sometimes it's real easy to represent ideologically, like the person who let the report says. I don't know how to explain that. I respect everyone's ideological position, but if that's not what the report says, we can't go back and rewrite the report. We have to review, is that factual representation of what?
Maybe sticking to facts. Is that what you're trying to say?
Easy way to say it?
Yeah, okay.
I've admitted to, I wouldn't, if this is like a group thing, I wouldn't put my name to that one.
Sorry.
Well, I want to stick to facts, obviously, but I'm finding myself.
These are officers, some of them do look familiar.
Mostly for clarification. Because if you even look at the report, just what we reviewed today, the assessing and updating the academy and child training, it's marked as, fulfill this commitment.
So you might know more than I do. Is this city employees or public officials?
sometimes they have it different. Sometimes the assistant chief speaks,
Yeah.
then sometimes they do these powwow sessions,
So are these LEOs or
What's that?
are these LEOs or government
Oh,
officials?
no, these
Wasn't a
these are all
realistic
the
expectation.
appointed ad
It might
hoc.
have been when they wrote
Oh,
it.
so board, like board.
There is no update to it because
Appointed.
it hasn't been implemented.
And I think that's.
Are they regular people or?
And maybe it was just kind of a mistake for the first one of the implemented.
Did you not read the, does this have audio?
I,
And I'm saying,
yeah, yeah.
you should read the Phoenix New Times article
Okay.
on the appointment of the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
What I'm critiquing is,
Several of them actually were disgraced police. One from Apache Junction and one I believe from Phoenix.
Okay.
One actually, one of the ones here,
we're brainstorming,
black man here was spent 5 years in prison for police corruption and now he's on the ad hoc committee.
Okay. So, if the public wants to go find out more about this, read the New Times article, what,
Phoenix New Times ad hoc, just Google Phoenix New Times ad hoc committee.
okay, thank you.
Yes.
Or if not just one concept of a recommendation, at least majority, minority opinion on that
and
recommendation.
then come to a group consensus, it's almost like, well, yeah, I believe that too. I believe
Well, I'll
that
put my
too.
name to that.
So the reporter reports have recommendations that they start.
We have to understand the recommendations, say the Berkshire report says certainly like a recommendation. We have to accept that that was their recommendation.
So what else?
You understand that, we don't know what we're gonna do.
So under, if I have the right understanding, the recommendations of the board.
And clarity on the
You know, there's really
process
no
of.
need for organization, what needs to be done, you know? There's really no need for this.
Well, wasting resources, we know government likes to do that. So,
This is a good thing.
And the progress.
and by filming this live, like the public sees it more.
Ken mentioned,
Cause like the 150,000 they spent on the study that they really didn't need.
Yes.
I wanted to ask him, well, what's your recommendation? Because he, you know,
They already
he has
knew
that
all about it.
experience. He's written many police reports.
The union admitted to it.
I was shocked. I remember being shocked.
Yeah, I'm not publicizing this other than just having it on the public meeting page, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no publicity about it at all, none. That's why I made a post for it,
And thank you for doing that.
yeah. Some people appreciate my efforts, actually, an attorney recently told me that I'm,
Yeah, let me, if I can have your attention, just listen in on the groups. We really want to try to make this, and again, good comments, but we're trying to get the takeaways from the 5-point report. Not when the report was delivered, it's really the content of the report. Try to stay in that lane for now. If there's comments about other aspects about the meeting, or when you got the reports, or some of the mechanics of that, let's leave that to another time, because I think some people are bleeding into that. Actually, just trying to focus on those 5 points.
Chief Williams
I hope that helps.
does a good job
There you go.
explaining where she was at. I think she done a good job explaining where she was at with the 5-point. I think everything that she's so focused on seems she's going to reach those goals. How she's going to do it, the mechanics of what she's going to do, Or the timeframes. or the timeframes.
So,
We need to know more about the time
Okay.
because I think each of the reports said hey, we're gonna increase community participation. Great.
so I'm hearing understanding the mechanics
Yeah.
of the reports and how to,
How are you gonna achieve those goals? I mean, there's a price tag, there's a hidden price tag when you say, I want more community relation. Trust me, she knows what that is.
so like the end just said, help me on this not part of the report, this is logistics. These two are probably,
The first two were more process oriented,
okay,
and the last two were more procedural.
like Patrick just said, so whatever's in the report.
so when you look at the 5-point plan, and you're giving us a high level, how to move forward with any of those points, for example, this group said like on report writing, there's still more that needs to be done, maybe additional training on report writing.
I'd like to add,
So when you look at those 5 points, what are some things that maybe Steve can help?
She says she wants to improve the relationship community action officer. What is that called?
So how,
How is she going to do that?
so if we're gonna improve community relations, how is that gonna be done?
We have to know the how because I know that sometimes the deputy city managers. I'm sitting here, I don't have mine with me.
I know the last one's the survey, this one's training.
I'm hearing when you can't,
One's education.
when you can't put patrol officers on the streets, I know you can't hire them.
So we talked about assessing best practices, we talked about improving training. So
as you heard those things, what things are missing?
So one thing that stood out for me was when it was the employee sections, in the training, how few actually participated. And so, and even for, when the chief did kind of sort of the expectation setting, and there was 400 out of everyone, like that to me, I'm not sure that's a box that you can say, check, okay, or check we did that effectively.
Another thing I remember that last year, just kind of like, it's more like HR protocol, like, if you are soliciting, maybe we just put it down. Your staff, they should have a lot of different avenues to get that message to you.
Do it anonymously.
Do it anonymously, so that would be an easy recommendation, I guess, set up some anonymous, not feedback line, like the suggestion box.
Okay, so
using
offering,
technology. Because
offering other or multiple, tell me about that.
Because I do feel like, you know, we're on the right now, and I know there's these committees happening, and people needing to talk about you and talk about what you're doing. There may be
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
Deputy Chief, right?
One of our assistant chiefs.
Okay, can I get a card for his office?
Okay, I'll give you my card for media relations. Who are you with, sir?
Arizona United News,
Okay.
so.
You got a card?
Arizona, what?
United News.
United News.
Only online. We don't do it.
It's online?
Yeah, so.
Yeah. We're through media relations. If
Okay.
anything we can do for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Have a good day. Got a couple of things I need to do before I leave.
I'm following you around, causing problems.
Hold up, I'm still live. Do you want to say anything? Oh, okay.
I don't got anything to say, I'm just gonna do my talk.
Yeah.
What, did you
Art-
videotape me, or did I say something to you last time?
Art-
Did you use anything I said? I don't remember.
I don't remember too. It was a long time ago. I think I probably still have it archived.
You can take my picture of my shirt, I don't know if that's useful, but you know.
So here's one of the local community members. So,
What if you
so
want,
check.
I don't know, I mean, if it's not
So
useful.
forfeiture endangers American rights. 188 Fear 001.
Stands for fear. Forfeiture endangers American rights, where the police make their decision on who to arrest on how much money they can raise, rather than eliminating
Yep.
real criminals.
Yep, exactly.
Well, let me use the John, I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Hey, I'm all right. Oh, there's the potential informant. I know Tempe against police violence. So, yep. Try to do as much as possible. I thought there was going to be public comment first, but it's almost 4, so I think I'm going to head out here. Hey, Betsy. So I'm in City Hall right now. So still kind of feeling under the weather a little bit. And like I told Sixth Estate, when I come back, I'll probably come see you all, unless if you want to meet me in Vegas, Betsy. I'll be up there for quite a while. I'll have a time for the week of my birthday, so I might be doing some stuff. Aren't they gonna have public comment first? They always save public comment for last, and then everyone leaves. I know. Hit me up later though. We should talk. Later today. Later today, hit me up. Awesome. Have a good one. So I don't think I'm gonna hang around because I got a few things I have to do that are important too. I'm gonna go back to the scene, the scene from the other day. Take some pictures, and I got some stuff to do later. So. But it's good to see that people are coming out. So, obviously, they don't really want people to know about this. So the union is a big problem, and I don't hear anyone addressing it. So I'm gonna make sure that the union can hear us. Thank you, Betsy. So I know all this stuff happens as I'm about to leave, and it sucks. Because even though I'm technically not a resident, this community kind of has become mine, and it's like a home. Same with Boise, Idaho. I love that community just as much. So I know my channel is Phx Cop Watch, but I grew to meet people in Boise area, and same with Twin Falls, Idaho. So many places where I've met so many good people throughout my travels. So Phoenix has a lot of great people for being such a large city. So I know we all have our own issues, and a lot of it is because the government and police don't seem to know how to deal with community issues. So I'm gonna sign out of this. I'll go live if I see anything else. Have a good day, y'all.